everybody, Audra here, the Fit, Fearless, and Faithful Mom. Thanks so much for coming back. If it's your first time joining me, welcome. I relate fitness to faith, little sprinkle of homeschool, and a whole lot of life chatter in there. Tap that subscribe button, tap that notification bell so that you know when I am posting videos. Today, I am doing a book review on The Smoke of Satan. Within the past year, I have been watching Dr. Taylor Marshall and Timothy Gordon. They have a great YouTube channel together. They call themselves like TNTs, like hashtag TNT. And it's awesome because they have such great insight into the church, and especially last summer with all the scandal that opened up, they had some great dialogue between each other. And one book that kept popping up was this one. And so I figured, all right, I'll bite. And I bought it, and finally I read it very quickly. It's a super fast read. Now the title is pretty intimidating. It's a pretty intimidating cover as well. I mean, The Smoke of Satan, you see bishop there. It says, how corrupt and cowardly bishops betrayed Christ, his church, and the faithful, and what can be done about it. I mean, really, like you look at this title and you're like, oh man, what's going on? Great little synopsis on the back here. What would I rate this book? I'd rate it a 4 out of 5 because let's start with the positive. It's written in a journalistic approach, so it's a really fast read. Philip Lawler is a journalist, and so his writing is really good. It's really good. I enjoyed his style. I enjoyed the way that he set up the book. You'll see in the contents, 9 different sections that he goes through, the smoke of Satan. And that is what he calls like the infiltration that happened in our church, why it happened the summer of 2018. He did write this book pretty quickly. I really like how he explains the tide and the shifts that have happened within our church. He does not bash our church. What he is calling for is the truth. I don't know about you, but I think the majority of us were pretty rocked back last summer, now a year ago. I know that I was pretty angry. I'll be honest, I stopped giving. I stopped tithing for several months. I would cry. His emotions are quite clear in this book. The point of why I wanted to read this book is because I was so rocked. My faith wasn't shaken. People do not define the Catholic faith. If you allow a man or a group of men or a group of women to define your faith, then you're not really focusing on the right thing. My purpose in reading this book is to understand the scandal on a deeper level, and that's what he does, and that's why I'm giving him like a 4 out of 5. He goes through so much detail that a lot of the news media outlets didn't cover. EWTN covered a whole lot, but in this book it goes through the Vigano testimony in detail. He really does a fantastic job of explaining it in layman's terms. And he also helped understand more about Vatican II and the changes. Vatican II, didn't realize is such a touchy subject with a lot of people. When you look at some of the stuff from Vatican II, part of me is kind of like, why did that happen? So I am reading more about Vatican II. But nonetheless, in this book, he does go through Vatican II and the impact that it did have on the church. It outlines the social changes that have happened within our faith, within the Mass. He does go into bishops fall into the error thinking of themselves as branch managers of an international enterprise, and they soon develop unhealthy habits. So he does go into the role of bishops and how some of them, a lot of them, decided to do things their own way, which wasn't right. So again, he's just calling for the truth to come out and to restore the bride of Christ. What he does focus on is that if you're pointing fingers at a man, that's wrong, because the church is not defined by a man. Her teachings cannot be changed. So a couple not not good people in here. Now, what he does do at the end is, how can we restore our church? Because look, it's been a year since this huge can of worms has opened, and I think a lot of people aren't paying attention to it anymore, but stuff is still there. So, what can the faithful lay do about continuing to restore our church? Well, he has a list of what every lay Catholic should and should not do, which is awesome. Because I think as lay Catholics, sometimes we sit there and think like, okay, stuff will be handled. But there is stuff we can do. Like, for example, liturgical abuse. Liturgical abuse happens a lot in Mass. And if you don't know what liturgical abuse is, I highly, highly encourage you to look up what it is, because it's really important to stand up and say something about it. And I have to my priest, because we don't want to stray away from the purpose of Mass. And I don't want to stray away from this topic. So here's why I did not give him a 5 out of 5. It just started getting a little too emotional for me. Maybe I'm just being an emotional reader, but after a while I was like, all right, man, I got it. You're upset. You're giving me all the facts, but there was just too much emotion that just started coming through. And after a while I was like, all right, I get it. I got it. But if you're looking for a book that is going to explain where the church is right now from a reliable source, because he cites a lot of stuff. He's not just some guy. If you're looking for someone who can explain the Vigano testimony, who can explain what has happened within our church to lead to a lot of liturgical abuse, priest abuse, bishop abuse, then I encourage you to pick up this book. I'm going to link it down below. I'm also going to link Dr. Timothy Gordon, Dr. Taylor Marshall's YouTube videos on this, and because they mention it a lot, but it's a fast read. Go ahead and pick up a copy of it, because, I don't know, it's a pretty cool book. So I enjoyed it. And I've been kind of referencing it too, because the more you know, the more you know. So when you can have an educated conversation with somebody. All right, I'll be doing more book reviews in the future so that you can join me. Let me know what you're reading right now, because I have been a total bookworm. And I'll pick up some more books. If I can pray for you in any way, please let me know. Remember, tap that subscribe button, tap that notification bell so that you can hang out with me more in the future. I'll look forward to it. Have a great week, everybody. Bye.